Okay, let's get going here. Let's test this. Should be fine. Right. Okay. So today's objective is to get a link account button in for Twitch first, and then we'll see if we can get YouTube. Morning, sir. How you doing? We don't need to store anything. We just need to use it to verify. So we need to at least request. What do we need to request? The profile info to get the stream name. So if we look up, I think what Claude gave me last week on Monday is pretty much accurate, right? I need a service to go and request, like authorize against Twitch, and when it completes, call back to that. So I need the app set up in there, right? And then I really only need to store a token or some identifier to say, yeah, I got this person does stream on this platform, right? And under this name. So I need to store the name and verify it, like that I've verified them. So I'm not using it to capture any further information against them. Okay, implicit grant flow, authorization code. So I don't want to use a flow. What if I'm doing? Because I'm doing this from the client. Authorize. Right. So I need something like this. Is channel it? Response type token plus ID token. Must be one of the following possible values. Returns an access token and an ID token. Returns an ID token. To include information about the authorizing user in the ID token. I mean, technically I only need ID token, right? Scope. Requesting claims. Scopes, there you go. I don't want to. If the profile returns with the channel name, like I don't need everything there, right? I don't need to know. I'm not asking for access to any of that information. I don't want to read their channel information or channel read. Yeah, there's nothing there I want. Scope user. Maybe that'll do. Start rewriting. Morning, Delta. The 10x code base blog article. Step 1, delete 1/3 of the article. I'd want to add that delay between me and Twitch's API because they change it so much. Well, again, I'm not trying to use the API. I'm trying to auth with it. That's it. And that auth is pretty much standard. So, hold on. Let me try this. So let me move this off here a second. Copy them, close that, move that back over there. And move this over here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly see if I can build a request to Twitch. To see what I can get back. If I do like user or something like that in here. Discovering supported claims and authorizations. To discover the claims that Twitch supports, send an HTTP request to this. Okay. Is that with auth or without? Okay. Preferred username. Response type. Claims supported. Scope supported. OpenID. Okay, so that's just the well-known piece. So I'm just looking for, if I do that against Twitch, like if I do this, can't do that. This, the query. Right, I'm doing it off screen because if it returns information I don't want it to do, then I'm not messing around. Client ID. Client ID is that. Redirect URL is. Come on. 7102. What is it? It is I need to be a valid redirect. That's the problem. I need to log into Twitch. Dev.twitch.tv. So, as much as I don't want to do this off screen, I do not want to risk sharing a secret or something. So, bear with me. So the goal was very much to be able to click a button on the UI that says, okay, auth with Twitch. Yep. Okay, we're good. We've collected your username. We've stored it in a table. We know this is a stream. We can actually link to it, right? That's my only goal, right? I don't need to have access to your valid scope. That's funny. It's from their example. I don't need access to anything crazy. I just need access to, okay, Scope supported OpenID. So let's just do OpenID. Right. I'm just trying to build that URL. Okay. I think that will have created me. Yeah. Get Twitch user ID, username. Okay. In this case, I want my redirect URI to be. How can I? Do you know if it's possible to trigger that in something like Insomnia? That flow? I don't know of any other way to do it. I want to see a response. Oh, Raven, how you doing? How's the land of Oz treating you? Should be everyday life at this point, right? Nice. That's cool, man. That's very cool. Bought a house, got a puppy. Wow. Baby, hello. How you doing? How is your Friday treating you? No, 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 no. I keep clicking on things that I'm used to clicking on just out of instinct. Puppy's 4 weeks old right now. You get him officially in 4 weeks. Oh, wow. Yeah. Our two are almost 2. Bling Geek. Good morning or good afternoon. Sorry, Rambling Geek. I didn't mean to miss. Did I miss yours? Oh, I don't. My apologies. Hope you're all well today. Okay, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to put in a button that will allow us to access Twitch information. And that should come back in the result. I just built WD-40, oh man. Oh dear. We'll be smelling that for the next week. Hey, Stony Eagle. Oh, Stony, sorry. How's it going? My my father-in-law would say, if it moves and it shouldn't, duct tape. If it doesn't move and it should, WD-40. Not bad, not bad. It's Friday. So I suppose what I need to do here is get this button in here and figure out and get the callback in there so that we get that. Any Apex or anything? No, no. I've pretty much stopped playing Apex. Well, no, I've completely stopped playing Apex. It just wasn't as fun anymore. No one was really on when I was getting on, and yeah, I also I really have buckled down on Liquid Sky and been trying to get the put the energy into building the software. So found out there's an expansion for Potato, so I've been heading down into that for 30 minutes every morning. Yeah. So I try to be disciplined. TTK changes this season quite different. Huh. Yeah. Not being very competitive at the game. It's like picking it up on my own is just not as fun, so it loses its luster pretty quick. So it's easy to leave alone for me. If no one else is playing it, or they're getting frustrated with it. So yeah, 30 minutes. 30 minutes is about all I got in me. Yeah. Um, I recently picked up a device so I can play some games when I'm traveling, if I work and whatnot, which is good. I would actually play Apex as well. But, I'm not playing Apex on hotel Wi-Fi's. 70% of the time I play with my wife. When she goes to bed, I'll do a little bit of higher ranked grind. Yeah, because I was never playing it for the grind, right? For the ranked, I was only just playing it for whatever anybody else wanted to play, and hanging around and just trying to do my best to keep up. Um, so yeah, I think approaching it slightly differently means that it's just easy to let go for me. But generally, I want to play more games, but then I find myself feeling bad because I want to get more progress made on my application stuff. So I kind of put my head down and focus on these things. What I'm thinking about right this second is, where do I put this piece? So what I'm going to do. Okay, let's have a look. So that would give me that. Yeah, it's similar for me. I enjoy side projects way more than gaming. Oh, I have the two hobbies, right? I do love the gaming. I, collect video games. Uh, um, I really want to play the retro game stuff. But in the same, I think that there'll be time for that once I've got some of these bigger projects done, and I'm where I want to be in terms of these. So, yeah. And if I give up and just say, "Oh well, I'm never going to make it as an app developer, like a solo app developer," then yeah, I could go off and play all the time, right? These could become gaming streams, but I don't want to do that. I still believe, and if I let myself get distracted, so. Yeah, similar for me, and just side projects. If I could code during the week and it wouldn't distract me from work, I'd be doing side projects in the morning. Since I'm a programmer at work, I should have all my code time be at work. Well, I see this as much of I am very passionate about the development, so I honestly don't see this as work. I see this as fun. This is just as much fun as gaming to me. When it's going well, it's as much fun as gaming. When it's going badly, it's just as frustrating as getting stuck on a level. Don't you dare give up. Not planning on giving up. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to create something. Actually, let's test this. Yes, let's test this. We need to see this work so I can think through the components, right? We need new solution. I'll bring it over in a second. Just give me 1 second. Web API. prototypes, Twitch, Auth. Okay. What I'm going to do is we are going to set up a endpoint in here. Okay, so this is going to be 7102, right? I'm going to set up an endpoint in here. Let me go back to Twitch, dev, manage. So link account, we're going to create a link account endpoint here. Is that going to be, is that going to post back or is that going to link back? It's going to be a get. Link account, right? Object result. Okay. Debugger break. And with name link account. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that request, but with a callback to link account, and then see what it gives me in here. I won't make everything now when I don't want to. But my mouse breaks because I keep clicking the buttons unnecessarily. And then we can figure out what that workflow looks like in here. Right? So we're going to take that request. Instead of that, we're going to go back to link account. Right? So now we're going to click on this again. Dang it. Oh, you need to be running it. It helps if you're running it. Because this piece that I need, making the request is the easy part, right? I can build this into a button. It only uses my client ID, so it's not like it uses a secret or anything. But it's this part that's the hard part. Why do you not work? Oh, it's not listing on HTTPS. Why is it not listing on HTTPS? Oh, because it didn't start the HTTPS. Oh. Body was inferred, but the method does not allow inferred body parameters. Below is a list of parameters to be found. Parameter source result. Okay, so that's fine. That's fine. Okay. So according to Twitch's documentation, will you do other redeems at some point? Yes. I want to do more integration with Liquid Sky stuff. I want to do kind of tasks and like make it a component of the stream. I do want to make a little bit more interaction there. I just have an idea of like putting post-it notes on the screen and using them as redeems. Like tasks, like making it a board, like a planning board, but interacting that way. And things on theme for the planning stuff. But again, it's the time, right? It's I get 2 hours a day. Getting that in there at the same time as working on the Liquid Sky itself and trying to move that forward, I can, you know, taking weeks to develop something else is it ain't easy. Okay, so if the request succeeds, it returns an access token, refresh token, and whatever. So let's Yeah, I think so. Access token. Okay, so linked account. Let's see if this does it. What EF call? I'm not taking a response and sticking it straight into my wrong body linked account. Let's see. Let's try that again. Linked account result was not provided from body. Dang it. Access token equals ID token. Linked account result. How can I inspect that result that I get back on that endpoint? Using Insomnia to make Auth fallback. There's a way to do the flow inside of these tools, right? Normally. I don't know what it's called. That's the problem. Required. Like, okay, let's do it this way. If we do that, right, then we should get in there because there's no parameters passed in. There's nothing to bind. There's nothing I'm expecting, right? So we do that again. We should hit our breakpoint. Now, what is HTTP context? Where are you? Debug. There we go. HTTP context. Oh. Anorex, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. If you're new to the stream, I am trying to build, well, I am building, not I'm trying to build, I am building an application for supporting developers who stream. This project will be an open source project once the initial stages are built out. The goal is to provide a site where you can go and discover developers through tags, through descriptions, etc. So you can search for things you're interested in. The developer can log in and register their streams. And that's interesting. I didn't even fire anything then. And we'll be able to okay. Sorry, I didn't get that response. Be able to the developers will be able to log in, link their accounts. That's what I'm trying to work on right this second, trying to figure out how I'm going to do that, make that flow work, because I've not done this before. Link their accounts to verify their streams, and then be able to set up the description, the tags about their streams, etc., and then provide a search facility so you can go into the site and look for developers that you care about. Also provide a set of APIs, so developers who stream can query this site and find out more information on streamers. So if you want to do a shout out, you can do a bit more of a personalized shout out by using the message the developer provides. Obviously, providing some facility for recourse and the event that the developer decides to leave inappropriate messages in there. Okay, so what called that then? Okay. Response, there's no body. There's absolutely no response body. That can't be right, though. Because I need the body to get back, because I need a token to be able to get the information. So there should be some response body there. Even implicit grant, right? Oh, hold on. I kind of want that done. I don't want, so the request I'm making there is not quite the same thing, is it? I had copied, no, response type token plus, no, I had. Where did I get that then from? If the user authorizes by clicking authorize, oh, because I've been, hold on, I've been pasting that in, which will automatically go back to the link account. It gives you changes the URL. I've been pasting back the URL. That's all I've been doing. Okay, so let's run that again. Now we should see a difference. So if you are new to the stream, you're always welcome to ask questions. If you have opinions on what I'm doing, if you have experience or ideas on what I'm doing, you're more than welcome to join in. There we go. Okay. So the context now should have, really? Request, headers. See that's got access token now? Yeah, that's not a valid access token, that's for certain. What are these values then? Oh, it's there. It is. There you go. I do have it. It's in the response. It's in the query string arguments of that. So So that would be ID token, right? That was the value I just copied. ID token. So public class response, JSON property name, ID token, public string ID token. JSON property access token. I don't think I need the access token there, but it's fine. Token type, scope. So if we do from query verified response, you go away. What? Parameter response of type verified response should define a try parse. I've seen that before. Is that serious? That should provide static verified response. There's got to be an interface. That's why that's iParsable verified response. iParsable. What? Parsable. I've not seen that before. Let's just try. I don't think that will work. Let's try this. String ID token, string access token. I don't need to overcomplicate this. I just need the token. Let's see what happens. Again, I got to remember to copy the right URL so that I get the redirect happening. Actually, no, this should work now. String ID token is not provided from query string. Oh, that wouldn't be that way anyway, would it? It's not parsing it that way. How do I get the query string arguments in there? Because I didn't see anything in there. That's the problem, right? So right. So if we go here and do context dot request dot query string, Am I just failing at minimal API here? Is this a Kafka issue? Minimal. Oh, hold on. I know why. I don't think it's accepting. What is this? I don't think it's treating as a query string because that's not a. Minimal API. How do I deal with that? I think if I change that, well, easily verified, right? If I run this and I change that to a question mark, right? What happens? There you go. So the problem is the pound won't let me bind to those variables. Here are all passed with instead of minimal API. That's an obscure one. Is there a style for that? Is there a name for that? Is that a configuration I've screwed up in mine? Doesn't look like it. And according to Twitch's docs, that's exactly what it returned. Fragment portion of the URI. Fragment. It uses the right terms. Let's have a look. Let's see if we can get the fragment portion. Close this down. So we go here. Oh. Or not. Oh, we're just not working now, are we? I just totally broken it. So the good news is this isn't going to Twitch every time, right? This is going to my system. So I'm not like just pinging Twitch constantly for authentication or authorization. This is all local. So it's putting it in what it's deeming as the fragment portion of the URI, right? So we just need to figure out, is that easily extractable? There we go. Context dot request. Now we saw query was empty, so there's no query string there. Out values. Let's just expand the request and have a look. Endpoint is not going to matter. Request. Headers. It didn't put it in the headers. Host. Path. Unless I'm wrong, it looks like .NET is just discarding it. They've got the path and the host, and the protocol, but no query string. We saw that if we change it to a question mark, it's fine. Oh, that's just fun, isn't it? Anybody get any experience here? So we're calling it the fragment portion. Minimal API. Hi, Abdul. How's it going? Welcome in. Minimal API. Map. Fragment. Like either I can tell it that that pound exists and everything after it is fine. But there is no, well, let me verify that. There is no from fragment or anything like that. Right? That's scary that it knows that. That's what I'm after. Yeah, there's no from fragment. Sarath. Hi, new here. What are we doing? So thank you, Wallen, and good morning. I am building a platform to help support developers who stream. The idea being that the original version, which is for 5 years old, basically it's a site that allows developers to add themselves to it, put their text a bit about themselves and their technologies, and allow people to search it. That's the first stage. So what we're working on right this second is trying to figure out how to get accounts linked so that when you log in, whether you use Twitch or whatever to log in, you can then authorize the account in terms of linking it to verify that you actually are the streamer, right? So that's kind of what I'm focused on right this second. Not something I've done before, but I am learning. Step away for coffee. Just have to see that before getting up. No worries. Thank you. So what I'm right now, what I'm trying to do is learn if it's possible to take what is referred to in the Twitch docs as a fragment portion of the URI into a minimal API. So what happens is when Twitch returns, it returns pound access token instead of question mark. So these variables are not pulled through as query string variables. They're pulled through well, as far as I can tell from the HTTP context, they're not pulled through. Which is frustrating. So, and I've never dealt with this before, so we're about to learn. URI fragment. And URIs. Okay. The fragment refers to the element with ID equals bar. A hash mark introduces the optional fragment near the end of the URL. Oh, and I do have experience for this. Okay. Quick, get your coffee. No, it's not a query problem. It's a fragment. So if I replace it with a question mark, right, it will work. But I'm not controlling that. Twitch is. So that is the difference between a query string and a fragment, apparently. So yeah, this is the fragment, and I need to map the fragment to an object. Yeah, Claude even assumed that it would be If you haven't figured out by the time I get back, I'll add some additional element. It has to do with the security thing with why IDPs use URL fragments. Okay. Question is, how do I map a fragment into minimal API? You can only access fragments in the browser. It's designed to prevent it from being cached and grabbed by the backend. So I need to use a different flow when I'm doing it from the server. So it's the flow. It's using, I need to use authorization code flow instead of so it's the different flow type because this will give me back. Okay, so I need to use authorization flow when I'm on the server. If I was to do this on the client, I need a slightly different approach. But I'd always have it on the server, so it's fine. Okay, so the authorize, so what's the difference? Response type code. I don't need token type. When you breakpoint the endpoint, do you see it in the request? No, it's not in there at all. It's completely removed. But it makes sense if it's using the wrong. So I was tinkering with implicit grant flow, but that is a client side way of doing it, right? Which makes sense. So if I change that to response type equals code, remove. Let's see what that gives me back now. Damn it. Yeah, see, that's different now. Now, that gives me a code. That code isn't something I can necessarily turn around and use, though. So how do I now go and get... Now I have to make the extra call, don't I? So we're learning about the auth flow, basically. Use the authorization code to get a token. So now I need to make a further call to get the token. So I need to post then to token with the code I get back. Okay, so now let me go and do that. That will be that body. It's a post. And then that will be JSON. No, that's just so that code there is that. And my client ID doesn't matter. Client ID there. Oh, I need a secret this time. Okay. So this needs a secret. Okay, that makes sense. Grant type equals authorization code and redirect URI equals. So I would fire this off. It will come back to me with a code. I will make another request and it will come back to me with another URL. Well, that's just annoying. I love how that sits and waits as well, by the way. So now, if I do that, basic client ID, how do you get plain other? How long is that code valid for as well? That's a question. So if you are new to stream, you're more than welcome to ask questions. If you have thoughts or opinions on what I'm doing, please feel free. I'm not saying that I know wholly what I'm doing here. I know what I'm trying to do. um, oh, there we go. Okay. So that doesn't call back, right? No, that doesn't call back. It's just a callback URL. Okay, so I have an ID token. That ID token will now map. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go and open. It's ridiculously cold today. New folder, auth. So login with its Twitch external provider, right? So we've added that. This is if we're now linking our Twitch account and our YouTube account to our logged in user, right? So the external provider doesn't really matter here. Now the difference is if I've got an external provider, no, I'll still need to do the auth flow. It won't ask the user again for that piece, right? So what I want to do is I want to make this request to authorize when they say link their Twitch account. That will go off and make the request. It will give me back a response to the URL, to the URI here, which will then, I will now need to make a further post request to Twitch for the token. When I get that token back, that will give me, this is starting to settle in a little bit. I understand what I'm doing in general. That will give me that, right? Which will give me the preferred username, which is their stream name, right? That's what I want to capture. I don't care about anything else. That response will also give me back a refresh token. But at this stage, not me, don't worry. Hello. Abdul, hello. You okay? GUI6J, thank you for the follow, by the way. What are the benefits of minimal API? I still do it controller based. It is a little quicker. It is not the same as controller based stuff. If you're bringing things up very quickly, it's nice and effective. You don't have to mess around with a lot of controllers and stuff like that. I mean, once you're used to it, it's fine. I don't actually use minimal APIs most of the time. I'm normally using um, um, like I'm using minimal APIs for this right this second to get it running, but normally I use fast endpoints, which is kind of a wrapper around minimal API, which gives me the ability to essentially create methods or classes to represent each action so I can wrap it up nice and neatly. Also, ultimately, though, it's a wrapper around minimal API. But if you're trying to get an API up and running really quick, like you saw here, this was literally out of the box, get it just swapped out, and there we go, we're done, right? So yeah, um, but yeah. So when they went to do minimal API, it doesn't use any, as far as I understand it, it doesn't use any of the basis of controllers. It's a completely different stack. Um, yeah. Okay. So what we're gonna do here, or draw, just feels weird to you. I'm not a big fan of it. I think it seems error prone. Um, what's this? This is linked account flow, right? So um, UI button. Uh, really? To Twitch. To linked. Yeah, I prefer fast endpoints. So in my main application, um, it's so cold. Yeah, it's currently like 25 Fahrenheit here. In my main application, no, I'm not gonna open it. I use fast endpoints, and fast endpoints is a kind of nice wrapper around minimal API. So I end up with a folder called endpoints, and I just kind of put the actions in there, and then it's a class per endpoint. Um, I prefer that over controllers because controllers often start to align with the model in the database or whatever, and you end up they become a dumping ground for behavior. It's like it's kind of related to this, so let's put the method in there. So I do like the one file per endpoint approach, yeah. And it's funny, I was trying to figure out how to do that a while ago, and then all of a sudden I saw Steve Smith endpoints, and then he recommended using fast endpoints eventually. So yeah, it was nice to find because I was like thinking about how I would do it myself with controller based stuff, which is what Steve Smith did. He actually built his around controllers, and the fast endpoints came around minimal APIs. And they are faster from what I understand because there's less fluff. Yes. Yes, I suppose I am. uh, this is the main application I work on stream, right? So I'm a big fan of doing the command query separation to the ultimate, where all this is the write and this is the read. So, so yeah, this is Liquid Sky. This is the application I work on Tuesday to Thursday on stream. This is a project management and planning application built in .NET. Uses Angular for the front end. Hazons. On Mondays and Fridays, uh, um, you draw it all out. Well, I draw it because it's quite a big thing to explain at this point. Um, yeah, as long as you're okay with opinions. But yeah, Friday, Tuesday, Mondays and Fridays, I'm working on um, developers.stream, which is a platform built using Blazor with .NET Aspire, mainly so I can learn some of these things and understand what I like and don't like about these tools a little more. And the aim is to try and build a platform that will be open sourced. I mean, it is open source now, but I'm trying to get the basics in there, the basic flows, so that then I can open it up to everybody else and document out those pieces. Yeah. Okay, so pictures work pretty well if you're trying to explain things on the stream, especially when there's lots of code moving around and people don't always have context to the code. A picture, you can at least point to an area. Um, if you are ever interested in learning more or talking more or sharing any more opinions on this, you're more than welcome to join the Discord as well. There's links in the card below on both Twitch and YouTube. So linked account is an endpoint, right? So that's my endpoint. That will then send off a post back to Twitch, I suppose. Which will return a result, which will contain an auth token, which means I can validate. What happened there? Let's say I'm testing some game ideas. I create a page with some nice concepts with AI, potential combat mechanics, etc. All meant to attract a gamer. Then I take it to a few communities and showcase this. Showcase this with all the promised features and get their feedback. Do you think it's dishonest if I don't explicitly say this is just a test run for feedback? So you're trying to experiment with asking for feedback rather than actually getting the idea in there. I mean, if you let them know, then you're not going to get the feedback you intended. So it's not going to give you. Yes, I'm experimenting with the energy they'd have for the purposed idea without being over. Yeah, if you let them know, you skew your results. But in the same, you're asking them to spend their time for, you know, something that's really not got any value because it's actually how they answer, not what they answer, or where the feedback comes from. Mm. I think if you were going into somebody else's community to do that, I think you would want to let the people who are in who run the community know what you're asking and see if they're okay with it and explain why. And if they're not, respect that. Um, at the very least, I see why it would be because you're trying to understand the way the reactions come back, the way the feedback is provided, which you can't do. Also, the fact that it's AI images might seem promised visuals that aren't exactly true. Just mark them as estimated. Like game developers do that all the time. We need to go over like Killzone on the PS3. Like, wow, that game looked good. Oh no, that frame rate was not quite what they promised. Right. Sorry, mic bump. So Twitch will give me back auth token, ID token actually. Yeah. and then we store. We don't even need to store that. So of the response, I can't share the screen because it's got my secret on it. But we got this anyway, right? Of this response, we only need this, the preferred username. We don't need any other information. We don't need to call it again. We're just using this to validate, yep, they're a valid Twitch user, and this is what we care about. I'm sure you can. You are very trustworthy. So, does anybody have any major issues with that flow? Am I doing this wrong? Does it seem so? We click on it, we provide the button, so we build the button up. We go to Twitch. When we click that button, it redirects us back to our linked account page, which then fires off a request to Twitch with the code that we were just provided to validate the account. Once we get that back, we can pull the ID token, decode it as a JWT, and pull the preferred username out of that. And that preferred username gets stored. And that's your Twitch name. Um, yeah, I mean, Zon's. I would say at the bare minimum, ask the people who run the community if they're okay with it. Explain that way. If they're okay, because the people who are doing the survey never actually know, right? And lots of games go nowhere. I've done surveys on games that have never seen the light of day. Um, but at least be honest about that and let the community leaders decide whether they're okay with it. But be prepared to make your arguments. I can see why it might be odd. My favorite decision was to can R&D after Wukong was published. Des loves sharing opinions. Well, if it's into a game community, then yeah. Since it's so easy to rehire Wukong game level devs. Yeah. The games industry is a little bit harsher. A little bit more harsh, I believe. Okay, so what we need is we need an account page, right? I don't know if there is an account page. Confirm email, lockout, resend, reset, manage, external logins. I recently learned, Mr. Jones, that there is a timeout button and it will time you out for 600 seconds. I might start using that. Uh, yeah, we're good. Is that? There is that. Questions welcome. Are there any games developed in PHP? Oh, got a right one. So we need an account page, right? So um, let's get. Oof. Here we go. We start to add things. Now we start to open things up to. Oh, why isn't that just a page? Why does this need to be complicated? Add. Raise a component. Razor page. Is it a razor page? No, that's a component. Okay. So is a razor page and a razor component one and the same? Profile. Um, so this, um, how do I make sure a page? Right. So that's profile. Can I make a page authorized so you can't navigate to the URL at all without it? Is that a possibility? Blazor authorize attribute. Is it just authorize? I've probably seen this somewhere else, right? I've probably seen the actual thing. Jet authenticate. I don't need authentication state provider, right? Unauthorized content display will print. Blah 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 blah. I don't need the ASP. Um. Okay, I guess we're in this world of figuring out. I kind of want something like that. Authorize route view and then call add cascade. There's so much reading here. How much of it is relevant to me? So a component and a page just differs by the fact there's a navigable URL, is what we think there, which is okay. The ASP can provide your current user's claims principal. I just need to know that it's fine. Authentication state provider. I don't need the auth state provider. I just need route navigation. Let's have a look. Open Blazor with auth. This window. Did this do the route thing? No, it did not. Oh, there we go. Routes.razor. So how does that work? How does routes.razor work? That's in the client. Scaling parameter context. Routes page render mode. Okay. So why does that live? So in this one, that lives in here. Routes.razor. Oh, nice. That doesn't actually know that it's anything to do with Razor, so that's awesome. Good tooling. Good tooling. Routes.razor. So that's that. Import those things. Now on the main app. Oh, routes. Where's routes then? Oh, I do have it. Web.components. Oh, it's there. Okay, so I don't need that there. It's very confusing. Okay. Now we do. Now we do. So now that's that head outlet. Why does this all have the page stuff? Right? Why does this have all this? Right? And that's that. And that's that. Is this why? Because the client is the kind of the driver of this, because the client might decide which one is which. Is that why this is useful in this case? I know ARP is the entry point. I get that piece. I'm saying that in the Blazor example that I created in Rider, it put the routes in the client part, right, with the render mode there. In the one that I created in Visual Studio, it created routes inside of the actual web app and left the client alone. It never did any of those view pieces in the client. But then again, I didn't template this, I didn't scaffold out the identity in this one because it was broken. The Visual Studio version didn't do the same thing. So do I copy what's in the Blazor version and have this routes exist in the client and then remove it from here, which is fine if that's necessary, right? Because that's what this looks like right now. Right. So I'm leaning towards doing what this one does and putting the that in the client side. Okay, so rider templating is broken, but then this one didn't do anything with that. So, by the way, it's not rider templating. I don't know why, because it's the .NET scaffolding. Unless rider does have an extra template that is right, because this looks correct because from what I understand about the picking the actual render mode based upon the components you have in there, whereas this has no concept of that, right? So anyway, rider doesn't create a solution file for us by a start, but CLI does. Not sure why that is. As far as I understand, it's unless it's just not feeding that, unless there's a it's not the templating, it's the actual, there's a bug in the UI for feeding that value through to CLI, because as far as I understand, it's underneath, it's just calling the CLI. It's just a UI on top. Darren, welcome in. Hope you are well. I don't believe that the Rider picks up any templating of its own. I think it just has a parameters to the CLI, so it looks like there's a bunch of templates. But either way, this created this, put it in the client, and it looks like it works in terms of the layout, but this one doesn't have that. So that's what I'm trying to figure out whether I should worry about. I mean, from what I understand so far, it doesn't matter. I can deal with that later. But anyway, how do I make sure this route is an authorized route? That's what I care about. Authorized view. Attribute authorized. There we go. There we go. That's all I care about. Okay, so now on our layout, we have signed in. So we go navlink class equals navlink, which I don't think is actually a thing. Let's do account profile. Call in sick, don't tell the boss. Okay. So now on the profile, let's go back here. Let's make this account profile. I'm building a growing distrust of maybe. Um, I'm building a platform to try and help support developers who stream. Oh no, poorly it seems. Okay, let's try that again. This should work. Uh, So what I'm trying to build is well, today what I'm focused on is trying to allow me to link my Twitch account to my profile on this site, um, even though I'm logged in with Twitch. Um, Basically, what I want to do is allow developers who stream to go to this site, sign up using Twitch, YouTube, or whatever, and link their Twitch and YouTube accounts or Kick if Kick even provides that. Um, and then um, app should be Mojo. It's the routes that where's the routes? Um, and the client project that it creates, where's the routes? Is it in the client or is it in the server? Um, and then basically be able to control their message, add tags for themselves, and have people discover them. Um, so to aid in discovery of developers who stream, and also provide APIs for why is this broken now? Failed to bind to address. This is not still running. I've not even run this today. Routes is in server and all three. Okay. Then it was a quirk. Again, I still think that's parameters. And thank you for the follow. So this is developers. Oh, how can the port be in use? Oh, you know what? It's not that. Where are you? Where are you? Didn't it used to be a way of elevating this? But in global rendering, routes is in client. Okay. Which is the right setting. Because so far I'm learning that there's like a billion different combinations of how you can configure Blazor, and it's winding me up. I don't want to keep having to filter through those things or find, oh, I didn't set it up this way. I've got to go back and reset it all up again. Like I get there's probably the auto and whatnot, but what is the right way? Let's see if we can get this to work. So what I'm trying to get running, failed to bind An attempt was made to access the socket in a way forbidden by its access permissions. So I started Visual Studio in admin, which is a common issue some of these have. This was working on Monday. I have restarted my PC since then. What changed? See, I was like, I think I've got a handle on the auth. I think I can get this done. I think I maybe can get to YouTube today. I'm not getting to YouTube by Monday at this rate. Why are you breaking now? There's no. Okay. But let's go and do this. Properties, app settings, launch settings. You launch on HTTPS. You're going to launch on 170.165. Right. Oh, hold on. It's that's not launching. I think it was 22. It was this one that it was complaining about, not this one. I think you go up to 32,000, right? Do not start the proxy for service 7102. Uh, okay. So that now works, but I shouldn't have to do that. But also, do I still have something running? Because that port should not be. How do you do ports? Get list of ports in use. Windows. I never remember this. PS nets.abn. There you go. Nets.abn. I get it. I get it. Really? How do you pipe in this thing? Uh, what have you ordered from Greg's? My favorite was like the veggie pasty. The steak bake was pretty good, but the veggie pasty was awesome. I'd have the chicken salad sandwich because it was just amazing, and a sausage roll, steak bake, sausage and bean melt, and a pizza. Pizza from Greg's. Yeah, I suppose it'd be coated in butter. There you go. Find string 7102. What's the port? What's the PID? How do I get the PID? That's what I wanted. Is an ABM going to give me the. Okay, here we go. Let's use the sorry. Let's use the PowerShell way of doing it. Oh, it's not UDP. Is it TCP endpoint? No, nothing. It's not about a spy. It's because I run. It's not left the port alone. when I ran up the Blazor or the API before. So I want to find the process that's running it and kill it, but it's not like. So let's just end that one. That might be enough. Which no. So it's got the port still open. So when I'm trying, I instinctively click on Rider all the time. So when I run it up, what's going to happen? I'll show you. It might have actually let it go by now. Let's find out. Yes, it has. It should be good. Okay. Killing Aspire before probably killed that anyway. Okay, so we should see it launch in a second. I believe. Maybe not. There we go. Okay. So we log in. We log in with Twitch. Profile. There we go. Okay. Awesome. Got a screen in. Now we need to restart it again. They had 14 tons of sugar. I want to upset my daughter. Like when we're having lunch or something, I say, "Can you imagine if we had access to a Greg's?" And she's like, "I want a sausage roll." She quickly learned that there's a food she loves in England. That's for certain. I used to live in Leeds, and the the bus for we worked on a estate, and they'd take us on a bus to into Leeds city centre for lunchtime, and I would head straight to Greg's, get my sandwiches, get my steak bake or my veggie pasty, and go sit on the bus and eat. So what I want to do is I want to validate that I can't get to profile without uh, um, Lam. Thank you very much for the follow. Welcome in. I want to validate can't get to the profile without. That's what I forgot to do, by the way. So I'm not logged in. If I go to slash account slash profile, I get taken to the login, right? Ooh, I'd so like to create a game. So many great ideas, but don't know where to begin. I just know simple C on an intermediate level. Not sure how much that helps. Um, I mean, there's, there's lots of frameworks. Uh, Godot and Unity are pretty much the most popular ones you'll find on Twitch. Some Unreal Engine stuff. I mean, if you're comfortable with C, Unreal Engine might not be too beyond. Um, Godot uses either GD script or C sharp, and Unity uses C sharp. Uh, they're pretty much the most popular ones for creating a game. I mean, I basically find some YouTube videos that offer like Ryan Lally. If you're doing Unity, I think is the one that comes to mind. Um, and yeah, you should be account profile. Okay, so that's working fine. Okay, I keep clicking it. I keep clicking on Rider. It's not healthy. Okay, I'm gonna leave it open just so I don't keep opening it. This is where having lots of memory and lots of CPU power is helping me for certain. Okay, so now what we're going to do is in that profile, we need to generate a button if the account isn't linked. So we're going to imagine that the account isn't linked, right? So how are we going to do that? Yeah, it doesn't take long. Why you moved over that? Okay, it doesn't. Attention span. Attention span. Yeah, I mean, Vam, there's a lot of developers on Twitch, a lot of game developers, a lot of really talented people. I'm not actually doing game development. Um, my app is built to help support developers who stream here. Um, but plenty of people are learning Unity and Godot, and there's lots of different resources I would recommend. Um, it's, what would I recommend? Not sure I'd recommend for learning. There's lots of different people that will be able to give really accurate uh, learning resources, though. Hey, Coffee Time was an adventure. Forgot it was trash recycle day and had a bunch of boxes to break down for recycle. I'm going to assume you got help with the URL fragments thing. Yes. I got my head around it, figured out the right flow, and realized I was wrong and was not heading in the right direction. So we corrected and we got the token figured out. So now I'm just trying to figure out where I want to create the button for Twitch. And Trap, good morning. Hope you are well. Um, what do I want to do here? I need to generate a button. Yeah, I can. I don't need the client ID and secret on the client side. I need the piece to generate the button, which is actually easily done because the client ID is not right. So I just need to put the button in place. This is what I need, right? So the OIDC authorization code grant flow is what I need because that's going to call back to my endpoint, and that endpoint is going to receive that information in terms of a code, and that code is what I'm going to use to then post to Twitch to authorize the actual flow. Yes. So I'm using the code grant. I'd made the mistake of using the implicit grant flow, which meant that that's for the client. So uh, it settled in. Maybe said this is a client thing. I can't do this on the server. It's not actually supported, and that kind of clicked in the right direction. So we need to build a button. So that's easily done. Again, I clicked on Rider. I'm trying to develop this in Visual Studio, not because um, I like using Visual Studio very much anymore, but because I think it's a more realistic thing to demonstrate that the application does work and build and is doable inside of Visual Studio community, which is a more realistic tool set for most people rather than a paid product like Rider. And I know Rider has an open source, a community license now, but that's still something that I don't want to force on people. Uh, just is the hardest part. I didn't know whether to invest into C++ in general first, for example, and then Unity, or jump directly into Unity and try to do stuff right away. But I think there will be some YouTube tutorial series. I know a lot of C, but the basic ASCII experience taught at the beginning graphics scares me. Unreal Engine might be more natural to you. I mean, C++ would be a more natural thing if you're comfortable with the C language, right? But again, C sharp in Unity, it's not very difficult overall. Is the concepts there, and there are plenty of people on YouTube providing really awesome tutorial series. And then there's people on Twitch that are happy to help. Um, yeah, agree. What am I doing here? What am I doing? I want to go to profile. I probably want to move profile into the account, right? Does it matter where I put these? No, it doesn't matter where I put these, right? Personal data. That's interesting. That allows you to delete. That's cool. Stripe is on a MAAS team, and I'm like, how does money as a service work? Loans? Did they just rename loans? Let's move profile into account pages for now, right? And then in the screw in here, um, ultimately what we're going to do here is something like this, where we're going to have um, we're going to know that the account's linked with Twitch, because what I'm going to do is create the table to link this. Right now, I want to get the flow in there, so I'm focused on the flow rather than the data, because once I have an idea of the flow of this process, I can figure out what data I need to capture and what I need to store, and where I want to get it. So I'm not worried too much about trying to go out there and set up the data tables and configure the migrations and do all those things. So if Twitch auth, um, if not, right, auth, I like it puts it quite there. Then we need to do basically a button. Do I want a button, or do I want an href? I suppose I want an href. And that's that. Um, can you do this? Twitch. URL. Public string. Get Twitch. Auth URL. Hello, Loki. Hello, my friend. Okay. A big stretch? Oh, bud. Oh. I would argue you should use C and or C++ and some wrapper library for graphics, audio, etc., and tinker with some ideas. Raylib, for instance, is popular, but there are others. I suppose if you're getting into the mechanics of game dev, that's definitely into the mechanics of game engines and stuff. That's Loki was just coming saying hi to me, apparently. Okay. Yes, I did just write that as one big string. What did I do wrong there? There you go. Connect Twitch. There you go. So the client ID I can take from over here. Right, that's fine to be on the client. That's okay. The redirect, we're going to go to here, which is a valid redirect URL. Obviously, we're going to build this from configuration eventually. The scope we are going to request is OpenID. And because according to, they give this an example, right? Scope, channel, manage, polls, channel, etc., and plus OpenID. Space delimited list of scopes. The APIs that you're calling identify the scopes you must list. The list must include the OpenID scope. Don't forget to URL encode the list. But they have, well, I suppose I'm not asking for these things, so it doesn't really matter. But in this one, they have a list of scopes you can have, and it just returns OpenID. But anyway, okay. Yeah, good. I did it again. Okay, so connect Twitch account, and then we need to actually set the endpoint up. Otherwise, there's just going to be no value in that at all. We know that it's going to return. It's not going to return that object. It's going to return this in the query string, right? So we need an endpoint configured for that. I want to do PC, but that's all I know. I was a user anyway. I would like to create games. I have so many notes. That's how games are developed. They're just essays, but very deep. I have everything except the programming. Liquid Sky, management as a service and productivity as a service. I don't know. Okay, so we have an API backend, right? This is where we're going to have app.map get so-called link account async. So we're going to, in here, not sure about that, but we're going to take string code. I don't need anything else from that, do I? I just need the code. Yeah. There. Await. Send. No, that's a command. Code. Yeah, await sender. Got too many curly braces and colons and everything everywhere. That's that. That's that. Okay, so to do this, commands link account public record command string code. I command. We're using mediator. Vlam, I'm not ignoring, by the way. I believe, Trap is providing some really valuable advice, and there's nothing I can really add to it. It's I would definitely listen. And again, like I said, there's a lot of great communities around, right? On Twitch, on YouTube, there's a lot of video content to look at if you decide on what you want to do. And like Trap said, make something. Just start writing some code. and make something and see where it goes. And then as you hit a problem, go and find out how to answer that problem. It's not a okay. So from here, um, we would do the next phase. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to put in the application layer, I'm not going to put an HTTP client. This would be a domain service. The domain service would have HTTP available to it, and that would uh, deal with that callback to try and prevent HTTP from leaking through into the actual application components. That would be service level stuff, just to keep it cleaner. However, that being said, this link account now should essentially work. Let's see. Let's see how far I get. So if we go and put a breakpoint here. Oh, it's not going to work. It's going to error. No. It's a unit.value. Value task from results unit.value. There you go. Let's put a breakpoint there. Used to the margins of Rider again. Okay. Our app starts up. Okay, we go and start this one. We log in, Twitch. We go to our profile, connect Twitch. I'm just going to rename daily things to as a service. Oh, almost. No web page was found for the web address. Local 7102 link account. It wouldn't be, would it? Because my API isn't on 7102. Let's be careful with that one. Be careful where you go with that idea. The API is not starting on that. The API is starting on 7173. Right? So if I go to my Twitch platform, I can save 7173 there and see what happens. Let's go. I just want to get this piece in place, and then on Monday we can finish up the link. We can create the data structures. We can store the data. Again, all I'm after here is the preferred. Actually, this doesn't start the API. This does not start the API, so that's gonna be bad straight out of the box. We need to make sure that the app host starts the API. How do we do it? We add a reference, right? Add project reference to API. And then we need builder.add project. There we go. But with reference. And this is going to be with reference. Yeah, with reference there. And var API equals that. That references API as well. Okay, module. Have fun. Be productive. Am I leaving you? I will be leaving you shortly. Yes. Fortunately, I have a job. Oh no. Some services not able to be constructed. Get live streamers handle a lifetime. Unable to resolve service for iRepository while attempting to activate. Okay, so that's not quite where it needs to be. Okay, so I don't have enough time left to be tidying this up. So the problem there is that this repository hasn't been registered properly, so that by the time it gets to this query here, this repository hasn't been bound. That's fine. Add mediator. Yeah, that's just because I don't have anything. I don't have the database components hooked up here. I haven't added the configuration, I don't think. Transient, I think, because it's a singleton. iRepository. No, I think I need to do it this way. Type of iRepository. And then we do application repository. And then if we add database there, no, builder to add database. One more try. One more try. Just one more go. It's fine. I can stop whenever I want. I just want to see success here. And I'm failing. Okay. Cannot consume scoped service. But it wasn't consuming a scoped service. I find it interesting that the mediators are created as singletons. I guess it cuts down on the churn of creating objects and doing that every single time you make a request. But it does give me pause for the lifetime of the objects we're inserting into it, because does it refresh them? I don't think it can. So what does that mean for the things that you're injecting into it? I think you need to be careful about what you're injecting into mediators. So I need to spend some time learning about that as well for Liquid Sky. But anyway, that is going to be me for today. I'd love to have said, yeah, this is working, but I've got a little bit more to do. But ultimately, the goal will be click that link, have it navigate back, link the account, say, yeah, we're good, and now get rid of that link and show that the UI, you've got a Twitch account linked. And then we'll figure on cleaning that up. With the Twitch account linked, we can start to add information. We can start to focus on the adding of your profile information, your tags, etc., and start to really build that out and see where we go from there. And we're moving. We're making progress. Adding YouTube, we'll have to see. We'll have to see if that's any easier. But it is coming along. So I will return on Monday. If you are interested, please don't forget to follow. And if you're on YouTube, a like and a subscribe. We'll keep you up to date with when I'm going live. Tuesdays through Thursdays, I stream Liquid Sky development, which is a different project using slightly different technologies and a lot more of them. But until then, for Monday, when we resume this, I will get this up and running on Monday, and we'll go from there. It is Friday. One Line streams Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And on Fridays, it's Community Day, where you're welcome to go in and ask questions about development, have a chat, jump in the Discord if you're comfortable with that, and talk about development in general. I would highly recommend it. One Line is a fantastic developer, a fantastic person, and it's a great community to go and hang out in. But I must go, so we will raid Frank. Frank streams on Fridays. He is a .NET developer as well. He's building a 2D6 dungeon app in C# with Blazor, and it's another great stream to go and hang out. So thank you for joining me. Take care. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you Monday. Take care all. Bye.